Hi guys, how are you? So this is a very urgent prophetic word that the Lord gave me last night. He gave me a couple very detailed prophetic words for individuals, okay? He wants you to not pay for it. Do not pay for it. That was one thing he stressed to me, was do not pay for it, okay? So I'm going to explain it to you, what he specifically showed me. He showed me a car accident analogy, okay? He showed me a car accident in the vision. Right, but he could be talking about any accident. I just know that he showed me a vision of a car accident, and he showed me the person running out the car in panic mode, and he showed me the person literally saying, I can pay for this, I can pay for this. And the person that was quote unquote hurt in the accident, they were, they called the ambulance. They're like, oh, I'm so hurt, my neck, my this, my that. And the person I ran out the car panicking was like, I'll pay for it. So let me explain what God means, okay? The accident could mean anything. You know how sometimes God shows us prophetic dreams. Literally when he shows us prophetic dreams, it's like sometimes that, like, the accident can mean an accident in life in general. It doesn't always have to mean a car accident. That could be the analogy he's using. I know for a fact though, I was a bystander in this prophetic dream, and I remember like he literally nudged me to pay close attention to what was happening and to observe everything. So I was a bystander, just standing there watching everything go down, and I literally was able to see how you were being manipulated. Okay, do you know how they have like these insurance frauds, these accident frauds? And also there's sometimes people will try to gaslight you into thinking that something is your fault, and because you want to be the peacemaker, you want to keep the peace, and you don't want there to be any type of altercation or problems. It's like you're hurrying up to be the person that takes accountability for something that you didn't even do. So what he was literally showing me was like there was this accident between two people, and one person ran out the car like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, did I do that, was I wrong? And the person that was claiming to be hurt, it was her and her partner. There was a woman and her man, and her partner was the one claiming to be extremely hurt, and the woman was also claiming to be hurt, but she was more walking. The guy was like, oh, I can't get up, etc, 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 and they had to call an ambulance and everything. And it was almost like the woman was trying to manipulate you into paying them, basically like, okay, we won't take this to the insurance, or we won't take this to court, or we won't take this to criminal law if you pay up this amount of money. And because you didn't know what was going on, you instantly thought that you were at fault. It's almost like you took the blame and you were like, okay, I'm gonna pay up, let me know how much money to pay, and then I heard specifically when I was standing there, the bystander, God specifically said, do not pay. I heard him say that. So as I woke up and I wrote down everything that was going on, and then I went back to bed, right? This time I wasn't extremely tired because God gave me a break and allowed me to sleep. You know how we have to hang up. We have to wake up all the times throughout the night to rebuke and cancel like spiritual warfare, and then we wake up in the morning extremely tired. So last night, the only times I woke up was to write down the prophetic messages, and I was able to go back to bed, and I was able to sleep comfortably, right? But I didn't mind writing them down because I was able to get good sleep. But he specifically wants you to know that there's going to be some sort of accident. It doesn't have to be a car accident, but there's going to be some sort of accident, okay? It's going to be some sort of accident, and instantly you are going to be accused of being the one at fault, but you are not the one at fault, okay? And because you have a good heart, because you do not like altercations, because you always want to keep the peace, you are instantly going to think that you are at fault because you have two people who are ganging up against you, two people who are gaslighting you, two people who are trying to accuse you, and it's just you by yourself. So because there's two people saying the same thing, you instantly think, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am at fault. So you're hurrying up to try to resolve the issue because you're like, man, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get in trouble. Whatever the accident is, it doesn't have to be a car accident, but whatever the accident is, it's like the people are going to try to make it seem like you are at fault and you have to pay up. And the Lord says, do not pay up. It is a scam and you are not at fault. Do not pay up. Even if it isn't a scam. I'm going to give you an analogy as to what I mean by that, because literally I didn't get this analogy right away because God gave me his own analogy. But it was like later on, as I was getting like some orders packed up to ship, literally I remembered, hey, something like this happened to me when I was remembering the word. And I want to mention it to you guys. This happened to me, I think it was last year, where, you know, there was someone who was driving during the school hours, and there's kids leaving school, and you're not supposed to change lanes in between a crosswalk, right? That's illegal. So the person was changing lanes in between the crosswalk, but my car was moving forward. They did not check their blind spots, right, to see that, you know, okay, someone's coming forward. So they literally didn't even put on their blinkers or nothing. They just switched lanes in between a crosswalk. So automatically they were at fault, and they scratched my car, okay, the side of my car. So the guy stopped and he ran out. And when he ran out the car panicking, he was panicking. I saw so much fear in his eyes, so much fear in his eyes. I looked at his car. I'm like, is your car scratched? He said, no, my car's not scratched. He's like, but your car is really bad. It's really scratched. And he had so much fear in his eyes, and he panicked. And then I'm like, is it bad? He's like, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, it's just a scratch. Like, you know, my dealership covers scratches and stuff like that for my car. It's a part of my plan. So I'm like, okay, don't worry about it then. I'm like, go ahead. You know, go ahead. Don't worry about it. It's okay. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Because I felt so bad, and I knew like he was panicking, and I also knew like the way he looked, he was scared. Like he knew he was at fault. Like if I would have took something like that to the insurance, he would be in big trouble, right? But I'm like, if it's a scratch, I'm not going to make him get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can literally get that fixed at the dealership because it's covered in my package. So, you know, because they cover scratches and stuff. They paint over scratches and stuff. They do like paint jobs and stuff. So I told him it's okay and to spare him. But when I took it to the dealership, it wasn't just a scratch. When I looked at it, it looked like it was just a scratch. But when they removed like some of the, like, because they were able to wipe off the paint from his car that was on my car, they realized there was actually a dent. Okay, there's actually a dent. And I was like, man, I wasn't even at fault for this. And I let the guy go because I felt bad. And I thought it was going to be like an easy fix. And I had to end up bringing my car in and ordering an actual part for my car, because there was a dent that wasn't even noticeable, because the scratch was, the paint from his car and the scratch was kind of like covering up the dent. So you couldn't tell there was a dent until we rubbed off his paint. So I had to take my car to the actual dealership, and they had to order me a whole new part, and I had to actually pay for that. Okay, but and I could have like found him and said, yeah, you know, you're at fault, you know, because I had, you know, his information. But I just took the fault. I just took the blame, because I'm like, I'm the one that I should have came out my car and actually checked my car properly instead of just looking at the scratch. I should have actually put my hand on it and felt it and everything like that. But in the moment, I just, because I thought it was a scratch, I'm just like, it's not really a big deal. I don't want to put him through more stress, because he looks very stressed out. And I honestly think he didn't even have insurance. I think he was extremely stressed out, and I was trying to help him, and it ended up costing me. But at the end, I was like, okay, God, you know, that was my fault. That was my wrong. Even though I wasn't at fault for the accident, I was wrong for just letting the situation slide like that, right? So that reminded me similar of that. But your case, it may not be an accident. God may just be using the accident analogy as an example, but he did let me know there's going to be some sort of accident. Like there's going to be something that happens where you're not at fault, but because there's more than one person saying you're at fault, you're going to think you're at fault, and you may be so quick to easily pay up and take care of the problems, not realizing that it's either a fraud or you're not actually wrong, and they're the ones that actually have to pay up. Okay, so I'm giving you this confirmation. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.